In America today, there's a paradox everyone can see. We work hard, we have more opportunities than ever before. Technology and capital are always available. And yet, countless businesses still go bankrupt after just a few years. Most people assume failure comes from a lack of ideas, money, or luck. But Keith Cunningham, a seasoned entrepreneur who lost millions of dollars to bad decisions, points to a harsher truth. What destroys most careers isn't the lack of resources, it's stupid decisions. We study math, we study history, but no one teaches us how to avoid the kinds of choices that can wipe out an entire career, family, and future. The road less stupid doesn't promise to turn you into a genius, but it will show you how to sidestep the deadly mistakes others have already made. If you want a smarter path to building wealth while avoiding the crushing cost of foolishness, stick with this video until the end. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss future book summaries that can save you thousands of dollars in what Keith calls the dumb tax. Part 1. Dumb Tax: Lessons from Mistakes. Keith Cunningham begins with a hard truth. Most of us don't fail because we lack opportunities or intelligence. We fail because of bad decisions that could have been avoided. He calls the cost of those decisions the dumb tax. Think about it. In everyday life, we work hard to save a few dollars, hunting for discounts at Walmart or driving to the gas station across the street for a slightly lower price. But when it comes to big financial decisions, buying a house, starting a business, investing in the stock market, or scaling a company, one wrong move can wipe out hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. And the painful reality is that most of these failures don't happen because the market was too tough, but because we didn't take the time to think things through before jumping in. American business history is full of dumb tax lessons. Take the dot-com bubble in the late 1990s. Thousands of tech startups with no real products or profits were flooded with billions in capital simply because everyone else was doing it. When the bubble burst, countless investors and entrepreneurs lost everything. What they truly paid for wasn't just money, it was the lesson. Never let collective excitement replace your own judgment. On a personal level, maybe you've experienced something similar. Investing in a project because a friend swore it was a sure win, or rushing into a deal out of fear of missing out. Later, when reality hit, you realized you hadn't done your homework, hadn't measured the risks, and the loss became your dumb tax. Cunningham emphasizes, at some point in life, every one of us will pay this tax. The real question is, will you learn from it, or will you keep repeating the same mistakes until your capital and your confidence are completely drained? In both business and life, wisdom isn't about never being wrong, it's about facing failure head-on, dissecting it, and committing never to repeat it. If you can do that, then no matter how expensive your mistakes have been, the price you paid will still be worth it. Part 2. Thinking Time: The Art of Quality Thinking. Keith Cunningham has a strange habit that turned into one of his greatest success secrets. He sets aside sessions he calls thinking time, time dedicated purely to thinking, with no distractions and no rush to act. It sounds simple, but in a world where we're constantly pulled into work, emails, phone calls, and social media, sitting down with a blank sheet of paper and questioning yourself has become both rare and incredibly powerful. During thinking time, Cunningham isn't daydreaming or chasing random ideas. He forces himself to wrestle with tough, important questions such as, if this decision is wrong, what will it cost me? Is there a better option I haven't considered? What assumptions am I making, and what if those assumptions are wrong? The answers don't come right away, but by patiently asking the right questions, he digs down to the root of the issue. As Cunningham puts it, the biggest mistake isn't having the wrong answer, it's asking the wrong question. We live in a society that worships speed. Whoever reacts fastest, launches first, or moves quickest to market is seen as the winner. But speed isn't always an advantage. A rushed decision can saddle you with a massive dumb tax, while spending just 1 extra hour in deep, focused thinking can save you decades of regret. Look at the most enduring businesses. They weren't always the first to launch, but they often understood the market better, anticipated risks more clearly, and built stronger foundations than their competitors. That edge came from investing in quality thinking. And thinking time isn't just for entrepreneurs or investors. It's for anyone facing life's big choices. Choosing a career, deciding where to live, or choosing a life partner. In the moment you pause, write down the right questions and answer them honestly, you give yourself the chance to see farther and act wiser, rather than being swept away by short-term emotions. Keith believes the quality of your life is directly proportional to the quality of the questions you ask. Thinking time is the tool to raise that quality.
Part 3. Principle-based decisions, not emotional ones. Human beings are emotional creatures. We make decisions driven by fear, greed, hope, and sometimes the impatience to prove ourselves. But Keith Cunningham warns, any major decision guided by emotion instead of principles is far more likely to be a wrong one. He calls these thinking traps. When you're excited about an investment opportunity that looks too good to fail, you're more likely to ignore red flags. When you're scared of losing money, you panic sell at the bottom and cut off your chance of recovery. The root cause is always the same. Without clear principles to anchor you, your emotions take the wheel. Principles aren't just empty slogans. They're tested rules of behavior you commit to follow no matter what you feel in the moment. For example, Cunningham always asks, if this decision goes wrong, will the cost take me out of the game? If the answer is yes, he never moves forward. He also highlights the difference between being smart and being wise. Smart people know how to make money when opportunities appear. Wise people have principles strong enough to avoid losing money when emotions flare. Principles give you discipline in every situation. They're like guardrails on a mountain road. You may not need them most of the time, but when your car starts to skid, those guardrails are what save you from going over the cliff. Without principles, emotions drag you into a destructive cycle of excitement, disappointment, regret. Emotions turn every decision into a gamble. Principles turn them into a predictable, sustainable system. Cunningham believes lasting wealth doesn't come from a few spectacular wins. It comes from thousands of small, consistent, principle-based decisions. Once you turn principles into habits, you stop being a victim of emotion and start becoming the master of the game. Part 4. Smart Financial Management. Keith Cunningham has a core belief. If you don't know how to manage your finances, you don't really have a business. You're just running an expensive hobby. And this applies not only to companies, but to personal life as well. He stresses that financial management isn't simply about how much money you make, it's about where the money flows and whether it's serving your long-term goals. Many people look wealthy on paper, but aren't truly wealthy in reality. They might earn hundreds of thousands, even millions, yet still live in constant shortage because they don't understand their own financial picture. According to Cunningham, the key is building a system to control cash flow. He doesn't believe in luck or vague hope that revenue will grow and everything will work out. Instead, he treats financial statements like the cockpit dashboard of an airplane. They tell you how high you're flying, how fast you're going, and whether you're in danger of crashing. Pilots never ignore their instruments, and neither do financially successful people. This requires proactive thinking rather than reactive habits. Instead of just checking a bank balance to decide what to spend, Cunningham encourages setting clear financial rules, such as what percentage of income goes back into reinvestment, what percentage is kept in reserves to buy time when crisis strikes, What percentage can be spent personally to maintain balance without overspending? He especially emphasizes the reserve fund. Many people don't fail because their idea is bad. They fail because they run out of money before the idea has time to work. Cash is the oxygen of both business and life. Without cash, you can't breathe. For Cunningham, smart financial management isn't about secret formulas. It's about discipline. Discipline in tracking, discipline in monitoring, discipline in setting limits and sticking to them. Just like staying physically healthy, there's no magic trick beyond eating well and exercising regularly. When you manage your finances well, you free your mind from the constant anxiety of money. You stop losing sleep over bills or making rushed, desperate choices. Instead, you gain the calmness to see further ahead, to think strategically instead of merely surviving day to day. And that calmness is the greatest advantage the financially undisciplined will never have.
Part 5. Discipline and Systems. Keith Cunningham once said something worth reflecting on. You can't build a great future on a foundation of impulsive actions. Sustainable success never comes from spur-of-the-moment decisions. It comes from discipline, repeated consistently, and built into a system. Imagine this. A business without clear processes is like a sports team stepping onto the field without a game plan. They might win a few matches by luck, but when real challenges come, they collapse quickly. Personal life works the same way. If your decisions are ruled by feelings, working when you feel motivated, quitting when you don't, your results will be as unstable as your emotions. Cunningham emphasizes that systems are what allow discipline to continue even when motivation disappears. People often assume disciplined individuals simply have iron willpower. In reality, they're smarter in one simple way. Instead of relying on feelings, they build systems that force them to stay on track. For example, instead of trying to remember to save money, they set up automatic transfers into a separate account the moment income comes in. Instead of trying to focus each time they work, they build habits like turning off notifications and blocking out deep work time. Systems are like protective fences. They keep you on course without draining your energy fighting temptation every day. Cunningham also highlights a crucial truth. Systems only matter if you stick to them on your worst days. Anyone can act disciplined when life is smooth. True success belongs to those who still follow their system when they're tired, discouraged, or distracted by adversity. Those difficult moments are what separate the amateurs from the professionals. Once you have both discipline and systems, you free yourself from countless small, repetitive decisions. Instead of wasting mental energy asking, should I do this or not? Or should I spend or save? The system decides for you. This allows you to focus your energy on what truly matters: long-term direction, big strategies, and real dreams. In the end, Cunningham warns, without discipline, you'll pay the price of chaos. Without systems, you'll pay the price of exhaustion. But with both, you build a solid foundation, one upon which lasting success can be created and sustained. Part 6. The greatest lesson: avoiding mistakes. Keith Cunningham puts it plainly. You don't have to be smarter than other people to get rich. You just have to make fewer mistakes than they do. This is the greatest lesson and the essence of the road less stupid. In business and in life, most people obsess over questions like, how do I win big? How do I create a breakthrough? But in reality, the most successful people think in the opposite direction. They're not chasing lucky breaks, they're focused on avoiding the setbacks that could wipe them out. Cunningham compares managing your finances and career to driving on a long road trip. To reach your destination, you don't have to drive faster than everyone else. What matters is that you don't crash into the guardrails or fall off a cliff. One major mistake can erase years of effort. The problem is, most of us are easily seduced by the shiny lights of opportunity. an investment that promises to double in 6 months, a big purchase made in a burst of emotion, a can't-miss startup pitch that sounds too good to pass up. And yet it's often those rushed decisions that turn into the heaviest burdens. Cunningham reminds us, success doesn't come from being right all the time. It comes from not letting the times you're wrong destroy the entire game. That's why he champions the art of thinking time, taking the time to ask hard questions, envision worst-case scenarios, and calculate the cost of mistakes before taking action. The smartest entrepreneurs, investors, and individuals aren't those who can predict the future perfectly. They're simply the ones who build safety nets. They never bet everything on a single opportunity. They don't let emotions control their wallet, and they're humble enough to admit, I might be wrong. The greatest lesson Cunningham leaves us with is this: staying in the game matters more than winning quickly. You don't need a single perfect move to change your life. You just need to keep making wiser choices than yesterday while avoiding the dumb mistakes that could send you back to square one. In the end, success isn't a race to see who moves faster. It's a test of who can stay standing the longest, and the road less stupid, that's the road you need to walk with consistency. We often get obsessed with finding the formula for getting rich, but Keith Cunningham reminds us of a simple truth. The path to success isn't about being a genius, it's about avoiding the stupid mistakes that can wipe everything out. Remember, you don't have to win every battle, you just have to stay in the game until the end. And the less stupid road is the one that leads you to real freedom and lasting success. If you found value in these insights, hit like and subscribe so you won't miss more books that can change the way you think about money and life.